Hello and welcome everyone to a new Areopa webinar. My name is Tine and I'll be the moderator for today. We have a great new session titled Business Central Data in Offline Mode with Power Apps. We're already on the number 98 and we'll be off to a number 100. Today with us we have Bartosz, who's gonna be the presenter. I met Bartosz on the days of years ago, and last year I visited this session of his for offline data with Power Apps, and it's again one of those sessions where even if you find it very interesting at the conference itself, you quite quickly forget once you actually have a requirement that would Power Apps or offline mode. So I'm very happy that he decided to join us today and do a redo of that session. I do want to share with you a couple of housekeeping rules. So your microphone is muted and it's going to stay muted. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them on the right side of the screen. I'll pick them up at the end of the webinar. That's how we agreed with Bartosz. This webinar will be recorded and it will be published on the YouTube channel. So you can expect to see it there roughly tomorrow afternoon, where you can also find all of the other sessions that have been done in the previous editions. If you'd like to know what's coming next, the easiest way is to subscribe to the newsletter. The Funky Loop, you can always find the link to the newsletter on areopa.academy. But if I give you a quick sneak peek of what's coming next Monday, we have a session that was moved from December about grabbing BC artifacts in your pipelines via an Azure function from Arthur and Tobias. On 3rd of February, we also have a session that was moved from November from Christian on elastic leadership applied for development teams. On 17th of February, I'll be doing my own webinar, which is going to be on prompt engineering and how do you become a prompt engineer. And later in March, we have 45 tips by Soren, which is also a very popular session on all of the conferences. So looking forward to that one as well. If you are a speaker or if you know a speaker that you would like to see appear on this channel, we're always looking for speakers. We're always looking for topics, and we're also very willing to guide any of you to becoming a speaker in the future. So feel free to reach out to anyone at Areopa. Finally, I'd like to thank our sponsor. And with that, I'm going to change the presenter to Bartosz, and let's hear about offline data.
Okay, hello. So mentioned, we'll be talking today about Business Central data in offline mode with Power Apps and how to do this. So quickly, 2 words about me. I'm Bartosz Rudzinski. I come from Poland. I work as a Business Central and Dynaway. I recently built pages doing a little project, UX enthusiast. I like when things are working, but I would like them also to feel and look good. So the customer would have the pleasure of using the apps. And if you would like to get in touch, here's the QR code to my LinkedIn page. Okay, so what's the agenda for today? First of all, I will talk quickly about why we need offline mode. What are the situations that we shall implement one? Then I will talk about the options for offline mode in Power Apps and how to connect it with Business Central. Then we would dive deep into the development of offline mode in Power Apps using virtual tables in this example. And last but not least, I would show you a demo on some community project that we are developing in Tine. Okay, so to start with, why offline mode? One of the reasons could be that, of course, the network connectivity in the area that we are currently on is poor. Like the users, workers in mines, in woods, in fields, so that they could have trouble with the connectivity, so they would need their data offline. And sometimes it could be the Business Central data. Then the reason is that our users can be always on the move. Like, for example, salespersons are constantly traveling around the country, around the world. So we are not sure what the connection would be. And they need to create some documents, create some sales orders, maybe add some customers to the database. and they would not be able to if they don't have the connection. And last thing, we should use the data on the device is like saving the user settings of our apps, like the language, the company that the user is currently working in. Yeah, because we don't want to set it over and over when they are opening the app. Okay, so now let me show you what are the options for the offline modes in Power Apps. We have right now two main options. There's a dedicated offline mode that was introduced in autumn 2023, and it was developed by Microsoft, and it comes with useful tools. And the other solution is creating our own custom sales data to the mobile device that it's run on. And let me quickly talk about the dedicated offline mode from Microsoft. It is available out of the box for standard database tables, unfortunately not virtual tables. And that's the reason why I decided not to use it in my solution. This dedicated offline mode comes with predefined screens and management of offline mode. They are very handy and they are very useful and a lot of work. And if you would decide to use it, then you would have to enable offline mode in the tables you would like to be taken offline, and in Power Apps Studio in the Power App that you are developing. Just to show you how to enable it, here we are in the Power Platform Power Apps environment that has a Dataverse, and we can go to one of the standard tables like this account, and then going to the settings, we can scroll down and find this setting that table can be taken offline. Then when we have did this and we have done it for another tables that we need, we can go to our Power Apps Studio, and when we go to the settings of section, we can find this checkbox that this setting can be used offline. When we would check it, our Power Apps would gain an access to predefined screens, synchronization tools, and so on. Let's now talk about custom solution. Of course, when we are doing something by ourselves, we have more control over it, but on the other hand, we have to think about everything, like the synchronization, the saving of the data to the device, how to just manage all of the things and make it work in the end. But using it, creating a custom solution, in my case, it gave me ability to use it with Business Central virtual tables, which was the focus point for me and the main reason why I decided to create custom solutions. And just to show you that unfortunately virtual tables are not supported with a dedicated offline mode, here we have the screenshot one more time from the tables in the Dataverse from fixed asset, and this fixed asset is a virtual table. It's based on a standard API from BC. And when we go to the same settings, same properties as before in the account table, and when we scroll down, we can see that this virtual table cannot be taken offline. Let's now quickly talk about BC virtual tables. Yeah, because maybe not all of you have heard about them, or maybe some of you just don't know much. So BC virtual tables allow to connect BC and Power Platform environments. You just have to go to Dataverse connection setup in your Business Central and go through the assisted setup that will guide you every step of the way. And one of the options would be enabling virtual tables. This connection offers you Business Central offer connection to data in the Business Central without use of any other connectors. So when you enable some API that you can create, of course, or you can use standard Business Central APIs, you would have the access to it in your Dataverse and then in your app. What's more about virtual tables, they are referring directly to the data in the Business Central. So you are not copying, you are not the data into database. You just refer, let's say, your master data in Business Central. What's really handy, those possibility to quite easily switch companies within connected BC environment. So you can have access to every company in this specific environment. And one thing you should remember about using Business Central virtual tables is that you are exposing the fields, the columns from the APIs, not tables itself, not BC tables, but the APIs that are based on these Business Central tables. So you would see only the fields that are exposed by the API. Okay, let's now talk about the main part of this presentation, so development of offline mode. I divided it into a few parts. So first I would talk is needed offline, then how to check connectivity, how to save the data to your device. Then I will show you how to keep track of changes made offline. And then I will talk a little bit about the synchronization, testing, and remember. So which data is needed offline? Pretty much every table that you want to show, modify in the offline mode. Quite straightforward. And you have to remember that with those tables, also about the enums that are used in those tables. And finding an enum in your database, like those values that you have stored in the BC enum that are modeled then to a database is not so easy. So I will show you this right away. So from the Microsoft documentation, enums in Business Central are modeled as option sets. So they are not a separate virtual table. They are just modeled to be option sets. And to find them, first, the easiest way is going to the table that has column that takes the values from this from our Business Central enum, and then find edit column, and in the settings of this column you can see this field sync this choice with, and here you would find the option set that is a presentation of your Business Central enum with the values from VC. And to show you how the name of this option set looks like, it's quite long, maybe not so intuitive the first time when you see it. So when you have found it, I would recommend to you that for further use would not have to remember, not have to do it every time you would like to put a value from this enum to the field. What's the data can be needed offline? For example, user settings like language and company, as I mentioned before, and any other global settings in the app. In my apps, I usually have a setting for scanning barcode, if the scanning of the barcode should be automatic or not. So when the scanner is on, should I confirm the scanning or not? And another thing, when thinking about data, you should get used to this property upon start, because it would allow you to load, save data from the device's memory just on the start of the app. And where to find it? Here in the Power Apps Studio, you first go to the tree view. You would find this app on the top above the screens you have created. And then here in the drill down above, you would find this on start property where you can put your formulas, set some variables, and load some data, set this current language, and stuff like this. Let's now talk about the connectivity. And to check the connection, if you are connected to internet or not, you just connection.connected. It would return a boolean that specifies internet or not. It could be used in many different places and in many different scenarios. You can use it just to show the controls based on the status of the connection, or you can use it as a condition for some other operations, other formulas. And let's go to the example. Here we have first the example of this as a condition. So this if would, this code in this if statement would run only if there is no. And the other example is that is a property of one of the controls. So we have this visible, and it's set to not connection connected. So when we are not connected, then this control would show up on the screen. Okay, now let's talk about saving the data to the device. For that, we would use those three functions: save data, load data, and clear data. Let's keep in mind that there is some limitation about the storage and the size of the data we could save. It's around 30 to 70 megabytes per app. And you are doing this when you are preparing the data to be saved on the device and used offline. Please make sure to explicitly point the columns to save. Because if you would not point specific columns, then the Power Apps would decide for you which columns you need, and it would save only the data that is used in the app, currently used in the app. So the columns in the code, there could be some missing. You would have to point them explicitly one way or the other. Another thing that is that those methods work only with collections. So unfortunately, you cannot save like a simple variable. It would only save a collection. So let's something like our Business Central table. Yeah. So that's a limitation on that side. And the last thing is that unfortunately you can check if it works only on your mobile device or on Power Apps Windows client, but I think now it can be also simulated in the browser, and I think it's not in preview anymore. It should be available for everyone. You wouldn't have to turn it on. And just to show you about the process of saving the data to your device. First, we would load the data from the Business Central when we are online. We are just using this if statement, and when we are connected, we can create those collections. We are using this concurrent function to create multiple collections at once, and using click collect, we are creating the collection called FA locations, and using this show columns, we explicitly point that we want those three columns to be saved in our collection. And now when the collection is created, the data fixed asset locations and other virtual tables are saved. Now we can go to saving data to the device. So one more time, when we are connected, we can save the data, and we are just pointing that we are saving data from the collection of FA locations to the file on the device called also call FA name. The collection on exactly the same as the collections that I first loaded data to. So the saving is out of the way. So how to load the data from the device to our app? Let's say we have the scenario that we don't have the connection and we are opening the app. So we would have to have the data somehow and load the data from somewhere. So we are not connected, then load data function. And we are saving the data to call FA location, the file called also, and here the last parameter true. It allows us to ignore non-existent files. So if it in the situation that this file, this call FA locations wouldn't be on the device, with this parameter set to true, it wouldn't stop us from opening. In the other case, it would let's say crash, and it would just freeze in this moment, in this loading data function, and it would not allow us to. Okay, and let's now enums because it's a little bit more complicated with loading them from the data from the device. But first, let's talk about saving enums to the device. Yeah, mentioned before, those three functions, save data, load data, and clear data work only with collections. So we need a collection. Let's call it call enums, and we are creating a columns in those enums in those collection for each option set that we have. We are saving the option set from this variable to the first row of this column, and we are doing it for every option set that we need to save and to in offline mode. Then we can just save this collection to the device. And about loading it from the device, we use this load data. We just loading those enums to collection call enums, but then we would have to extract enums from loaded collection. So when we are not connected, and if the first row of this column of this collection is not blank, then we would get the value, this option set from this first row of this column of this collection to our variable. Okay, let me show you now how to keep of that were made offline. We would one more time use a collection to log changes that we've made. Then when the device is back online, we can synchronize the changes with the BC, just updating and connecting with the BC, connecting to BC via BC virtual tables. And just for it is a good idea to log date, time, or user ID with every change that was made. So yeah, maybe someone can use it for some reporting purpose. Okay, let me show how saving data to OFF can look like on the example of fixed asset counting Power App. Here on the right hand side we have the app. We have it open on the card. See that there should be 4 fixed assets in this. As you can see, there's a banner saying that we are working remote. As you can see, we have 3 assets that were confirmed that are in this location, and 1 is missing. So when we would hit save or save and exit, the code on the left hand side would be executed. First, we would filter the gallery, the list by the assets that are confirmed, and then for each record that meets this condition, we would update the fixed asset location code. And then the part about saving the data to offline log is this collect. We would add a row to this call offline log. We would store the ID of the record, that was the fixed asset number, the fixed asset location code, and the modification date time. Then we would do the same with the assets that are missing, that are set as missing. We would update the specific record, and here on the second screen you can see or save it to the collection just with one change, that fixed asset location code would be now empty because it was missing. We don't know where it is. And after these operations, we would just save the call offline log to our device. And haven't mentioned before is that when we are using save data file and we are saving the collection to the file, this file will be overwritten each time we use this save data. So we don't we don't append the data to the file on the device, we just overwrite it. Now let's talk about the synchronization. It can be done in 2 ways, manually or automatically. The first option is that when we are back online, user can decide when to synchronize the changes. He can or she can just pick the right moment, the best conditions for it. And the second option, automatically, then we would have to check every X amount of time if the device is back online. It can get tricky if we have a multi-screen app, because we would have to have multiple timers in multiple screens, because it is working that way, the Power Apps, unfortunately. So this automatic approach would be best for one-screen applications, or if the synchronization should be only run from one specific screen, not like in the whole context of the app. And just to show you how it can look like, one more time on the example of this fixed assets Power App, you can see the main screen, the home screen of the app, the Synchronize offline changes button. As you can see, it's now enabled. There's a number 5 right next to it. So it suggests that the user was offline, user made 5 changes, and then now he's online because allows to be selected. So if the button would be selected, then this code on the left-hand side would be executed. This if error statement would notification when something would be wrong with the synchronization. Then we are going to go through all of the lines and here I am using also the as statement to save this collection as let's say local collection, this underscore offline log, just to have it in the context of this for all. Then we would patch this fixed assets virtual table. So via this virtual table, we would send the data directly to Business Central, and we would identify the row in our virtual table by this ID from the offline log, and then we would just assign new fixed assets to this record in virtual table. If something would go wrong, then we would get this notification that patching of fixed asset with failed. But if everything goes okay, then we would skip and to the next row. After that, if something happened here in this if error, this outer if error formula, we would also get the notification that something has failed, synchronization failed. But if everything would go smoothly, then we would get the success notification. And after that, we are pretty much ready to clear the offline log that we have right now in the app. So this was quite straightforward. Here's the example with a little bit more complicated scenario of synchronization of the data. As you can see here in this offline log, the rows are columns, different document types and different operation types. So we would have to specific operations depending on which document type and which was saved was done offline. Okay, now let's start mode. Pretty much you would have to try to crash your app. Exit the app without saving anything. Turn off your device, then turn it on. Try reopening your being offline. Just try to do the most, let's say, stupidest you can do, and then validate if your data are still there, able to get those data and still synchronize it with your Business Central. If you would across some problems, you can try to use the monitor in Power Apps Studio to debug your app to find out what is going on and what should be what could be missing in your solution. And let me quickly show how to find this monitor tool and how it works. Here, Studio, you would have to go to Advanced Tools, then just select Open Monitor, and then in the new tab, the monitor would be opened in the context of your Studio session, as we can see here. And play a quick demo, how it works in real life. With just opening the monitor, the new tab was opened. I would put it side by side. We have the Studio session. We are playing the app, and when we select this count fixed asset, we have made some requests. We can see what operations were executed. We see the status of the operation. We see the duration, so we can analyze the performance. We can see the formula that was executed by selecting this button on the main screen. Then we can find the screen that was opened, the data operation, the formulas one more time, how the request looked like in the end, and we can see details about the response, the duration, in the end, the data that we got, the list of the locations that we have opened from Business Central. So we have already, so if you are planning to implement of an app, you should really plan it before, consider what data you would like to work offline, and think about which of that should be stored in the collections from the start. And if you are planning to work with data with that would have multiple, a few thousand rows, some tables that have few thousand rows that can have this amount, you should remember about the delegation. Think about ways to deal with it. Then if you would send the users to switch companies, please remember that you should disable this option when you are offline, because it could confuse the users, that could lead to some heavy misunderstanding about. Remember, when the user is changing the company, you have to remember to reload all of your offline data, because it could just be different from company to company. Just clear it from the device and then load the data from the new company that the user switched to. Okay, and now of this fixed asset counting Power App I mentioned before. It's a community project for standard Business Central. It's free. You can download it from App Source, and it's without offline, but and let me show you how it looks like. I will show you, I will give you this I'm currently working on. The main screen, you can see this button, this Synchronize button that is disabled because there was no internet on this screen. Then the list of fixed asset locations that you are working on, and the card of this location with the asset that should be there. And now recording of the demo, because it's very difficult to give a offline demo on the webinar. So here we have our Business Central and Power Apps, and Power App on the right. We are going to Business Central fixed assets, and we have the list and we have the location codes for those assets. Then we are switching to Power App. We would go to this building, add some fixed assets to this location. Let's say we went to this location and found those. We are confirming that we are also checking some assets are in the location, some are missing. And after this, we can just save and exit. And in a moment, it should be saved. And the Business Central, as you can see, the asset 200 and 210 are missing, and 180 added to building 1. So that was the online mode. Let's go offline. As you can see, there's this brak internetu. That means no internet in Polish. And just to make sure that we don't, I tried to refresh the Business Central, and as you can see, we cannot reach this page. So now we are in Power App in the administration building 1 location, and we are confirming some assets. Some assets are missing, and we are saving the changes. And now let's go to another location, this building 1 that we have modified previously. Let's add this asset 200 and asset 210. Confirm. Let's check other assets, some of them as present, some of them as missing, and save the change. So the changes are successfully stored on our device. As you can see, we are still offline. Let's now go back online. Right now, one more time, the button for the synchronization. And now let's refresh our Business Central. Yeah, so here we can see the fixed assets list. We can see that as previously, the asset 200 and 210 do not have any location. So now let's synchronize that we have made in our Power App. Oh, and this app, this instance of the app is run in Windows client. So that that is the reason that I was able to record it side by side. And now after a while, the synchronization was successful. And as you can see, after refreshing the Business Central, the changes are also present in Business Central. So that's it for the demo, and some tips and tricks. If you are new to creating power-ups, or you have created some power-ups, just remember that you should always start from creating a solution. It would make your life much more easier down the way during the development. When you're working with the large data sets about delegation, you can find many articles and many videos how to deal with it. If you are striving to create a nice responsive design for different screen factors, please learn how to implement responsive design in Power Apps. It's not so difficult to do, and it's worth the time spent on it. Of course, if you would like to perform some operations on app open, just use this app on start that this property before. You can define many things there, just like colors, something like colors. So you can have consistent colors throughout your whole app, and you don't have to remember which color I used in hex on this screen. You can do it just as a variable. To make the transitions and saving, loading the data seamless, I recommend you to use loading screens and modal windows to just inform the customer and the user what is going on right now. One more thing is that you should try use SVG icons in image control as your images, because it would give you possibility, for example, to change the color of the icon straight from the code. You don't have to prepare many versions of the same icon and import it to your Power App in different colors. You can just do it from code. So that's pretty much all. Thank you for your attention. Are there any questions?
Yes, thank you, Bartosz. This was again very interesting. If anyone's got questions, feel free to again drop them in the window of the GoToWebinar. And while we wait, I have one question. You mentioned that we can get this demo. So the app that you showed in your demo, that it's like a community project. Is also the source code for all of the offline mode stuff available somewhere?
No, it's not, but most of it, yeah. You can find different articles how to save the data to the device. You would have to look. It's pretty much it's quite easy to replicate, and you just mainly using this if error statement and saving cloning data going through the rows, for example, in this offline log collection.
Okay. Perfect. And we now always will have this recording to get back to it. I'm also very happy that you didn't show the demo live. I remember you did it live at the conference, but we would just lose you during the webinar right now. Switch to my screen for a bit more. I would just like to thank you to the rest of the team that you don't really see whenever we have a webinar, but there's a lot of work going into each episode. There's people on the side where we hunt for new faces, new speakers. There's a lot of work going into turning this webinar into a recording. So thank you to the whole Areopa Webinars team. And if you'd like to know what's going to happen next, again, you can check out the previous recordings where this was on the YouTube channel. Otherwise, join the newsletter, or if you have questions, feel free to shoot an email. But in that, again, thank you, Bartosz, for sharing your knowledge with us today. And that's all.
Thank you for having me.